Greetings, everyone. This is Eric Stewart from the Bad Rhino Local Podcast, and today I'm joined with Laurie Ryan, who is the president of the Exton Region Chamber of Commerce. So how you doing, Laurie?
Great today, Eric. I'm so glad you invited me to join you today.
Absolutely. It's good to have you here. So let's start it off. I'm just going to kind of give you the floor here and fill the listeners in on what the Exton Chamber is all about and what you guys do over there.
Sure. I've now been the leader of the Exton Region Chamber of Commerce for going on 8 years. And I can't believe how much time has flown, but also how much I've learned and how many great people I've been connected to over those years. The Exton Region Chamber of Commerce, I know that when I joined as a member, I had no idea what a Chamber of Commerce was. I thought they just had little brochures of locations. Sometimes I thought it was a government agency. It's none of those things. It's really a 501c6 where we are an association of member businesses and organizations working together to support the community. And in Chester County, there's actually 9 chambers of commerce. Sometimes people get confused of which one there is or which one they should join. And really, we all have a great value and purpose. And that's why we're not just one conglomerate. And the Exton Region Chamber of Commerce, what sets us apart truly are the member businesses and the people who make up the chamber. I've been so inspired. Like I mentioned, I used to be a member. I used to be in business. I was on the board. And over the past 8 years, I've just seen the group of individuals that have continued to join together to really support the economy in the region. And also nonprofit organizations. That is our community. We don't have a Main Street. We have Main Street at Exton, but the different kind of Main Street. So the community that we help is a lot of the nonprofits in Chester County as well.
I love it. That was a great little overview there. And Laurie, I got to tell you, the first time I went to a chamber event, an Exton Chamber event, it was a welcome meeting. And I remember sitting there introducing myself, and you were talking about all the different events that you guys have. And it just kept going down a list. And I was like, wow, these people at the Exton Chamber really, really have it together. They got a bunch of events. So, Laurie, why don't you just explain a little bit of the different events you guys have and the different things you guys do?
Sure. So again, that's when I alluded that we are that's what sets us apart. That's our differentiator. A lot of organizations and clubs have events these days. What sets Exton Chamber apart is the number of events and the types of events. We know not everybody's available every day. Not everybody is available at certain times of the week, month. So we try to offer something for everybody. We found, especially during COVID and after, how important it was to make in-person connections like we had never seen before. Frankly, I'm not the kind of person who likes to take a lot of risks, but during COVID, my risk-taking was having in-person events. And I thought, well, if people want to come, they'll come. And, it's their personal responsibility to make that choice. And I was never so blown away the first day, I think it was May of 21, that we could come together in a space, more than 15 people. And we had our Exton networking, which we started back in 2019 when we moved into this space in the mall. And I was expecting maybe 5, because we had done it on Zoom all during COVID. And I was expecting, maybe 5 people will show up. Well, 25 people came in the room, sat down, and to my chagrin, or whatever that word is, they took off their masks. And I'm like, no, we can't do that yet. But then later that day, they said you could like not have a mask on if you wanted to. So ever since then, we've had in-person events. We found even when we continued with Zoom events, we did not have the participation. Frankly, we never really had the kind of participation other organizations had. So that's really just trying to find an interesting way, not just here's my card, but other ways to connect, get to know each other, and then be able to support your business and frankly, your friendships too.
Business owners and marketing professionals in the Philly area. Bad Rhino takes the overwhelm out of digital marketing. With tailored digital marketing services, from social media management to SEO and PPC advertising, our expert team navigates the complexities of the digital ad space for your business. Let Bad Rhino lead you to success. Visit badrhinoinc.com and let's take your business to new heights. Bad Rhino, we do digital marketing, so you don't have to.
You get way more out of being in the Exton Chamber than just business, right? It's cool to meet there and like, okay, everyone wants to make a little money, that's fine. But it's also going forward and being like, okay, I met a couple people there who invited me to other networking events. And then I got to meet more people. So it's kind of this tree that builds out. And that whole thing of personal connection and networking in the community, I know you're big on it. So tell me a little bit how being the president of our chamber has helped you in your own personal networking, but then also all the cool people you get to meet too.
It is really super cool. So a little about my background. Like, this is how I know the power of connections. In my background, I worked for Kellogg's sales company for 10 years, and then, got to drive in, the Kellogg car, NASCAR, and, take all these really cool trips and meet all these cool places. But I was still an individual salesperson, never networked. Then I became a stay-at-home mom, and, my network was whoever, Susie's Girl Scout leader is, so it was just a different kind of network. And then when I decided to re-enter the workforce, I realized the importance of having a network. And so that started when I first started working at Wendell August Forge, is the first time I learned anything about the chamber, and joined the Chester County Chamber of Business and Industry, the Exton Region Chamber, Main Line Chamber, but it was still kind of confined. It was a store, I was working at a store. And then basically when I got a job at Buca di Beppo as the sales manager, I could really utilize my my opportunities to network. I went to every chamber event. I went to every women's networking event. I visited BNIs, I visited PRE, and I would just gather people. Not all of them were buying food from me. They were not getting catering. Some of them were far away, but I was developing connections, and people knew I cared about what they did, who they were, without actually selling necessarily. But that helped me when I left there and started working with the chamber. Now I know more groups of people. And I continue today. When I have a one-on-one with somebody, I ask them, where else do you network? Or who are you trying to get a hold of? Because you really don't know. Just like my one event might have no interest to you at all, Eric. But if I know who you're trying to meet, or what type of help you're going to need with your business, then I can make those connections or tell you where you should be. And the only way you can do that really is to be out there. So you'll still see me at IMPs. You'll still see me at other chamber events if they allow me to come. I try to be wherever I'm invited, and try to make that difference. I do get to meet a lot of government agencies. Through another chamber, I got to see the sitting vice president. That was so cool to have all the Secret Service and standing forever waiting for the vice president to come. I've been invited to places and got to meet people I would never have been in the room with before. And those kind of things, chamber presidents don't get paid a lot of money, but that's like worth, all the people that you get to meet is so valuable. And, when we can, a lot of small businesses are in our chamber. So they might not have the 1-800 number, like who to fix their marketing, who to fix their IT, who to bank with or loan them money. The chamber is a place that we can make those connections. Check out Eric if you need to have a podcast, a website, targeted marketing. And we can give them a list of names for people to go check out. So we're a lot of value that way too. And then we give the opportunity for you to get to like that person, to say, I want to do business with you.
It goes a long way too, hearing it from another person like, hey, I did business or I know this other person. Go check them out. I think they might be a good fit for you, and just having that conversation. I know being in sales personally, it goes a long way when someone already knows your name, might know your face a little bit too. So it's all awesome stuff. So one of the questions this is a little selfish question. But I've been dying to ask you this is when you were first starting out, getting into networking, as you know, newer to the networking scene here, what was it like when you first started out? Were you nervous going to the different events and meeting people, and how did you kind of overcome that? And any tips you can give to new business owners that are looking to get started networking in the Exton region too? Feel free to drop any tidbits here for them to listen into.
Sure, because believe it or not, I am really an introvert. I'm one of the shyest people you might ever meet, at least, and I have overcome it in a lot of ways. But there are times when I do walk into a room, especially if it's a very large room, or I don't feel that, maybe some of those government officials or, legislators are in the room, especially in the beginning when I didn't know them. I felt a little shy, inferior. You walk into a room and everybody knows everybody already, and how there's still times when I get a little reserved, and I bring back to when I started and networking more. If you don't have somebody that you can go with, because that's really the best strategy, is to find someone with a similar or like a partner, like a industry partner. So, you might bring someone who shoots video, or like somebody that or IT, or somebody that, you could both get business from the same person, and it would be you would interact with each other. So either bring somebody, or what I always like to do is to find somebody in the room that looks just as uncomfortable as I do, and go and have a little conversation. One day I was at an event. It was a groundbreaking for the new Boy Scout Park Center. I'm a new chamber president. I don't know why I was invited. I was thrilled to be invited, but very uncomfortable. And there's all these very important people in the room because they're doing this groundbreaking soon. They were still collecting money. And there was this one gentleman standing by the plans, which have changed since then, by the way. But and he was, I don't know, he was a director of something in Chester County government. And we just started talking, developed a relationship. We had lunch after. He introduced me to other people, and it just was easy, and it just helped me with the next information, because then I'm like, oh, I know so-and-so, and he helped me here, so that's really my best tidbit. And in Exton, there are so many opportunities to network. If you come to this INP that is not a chamber event, but it's held every Friday morning at the chamber office in the mall, we'll get businesses from all over the area, usually 50 to 60 businesses each week, and they get list what events are available that next week. I get to raise my hand too for my events, but, there is so much out there. And so, find where you feel comfortable, and then kind of expand yourself to meet other people as well.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And it's so easy, to look back, right? When we first met, I didn't know you. You were a complete stranger. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things. It's you start going to these more and more, and it's oh yeah, that's Laurie. That's the chamber president. We don't even shake hands anymore. We just give each other hugs. So it's interesting how you see that develop.
It's kind of I think that's one of my biggest gifts, is that I know what it's like to feel uncomfortable in the room, or, I put my pants on the same way as everybody else, so I think it's really valuable to just be that present, welcoming presence. Now that I'm getting older and I have more names in my head, it's sometimes I hate when I lose a name for the second and then I apologize, because I really, do remember people, how I know them. And, and I think that's so valuable to me when people remember me, and throughout the years. And that's what I try to do, while leading the chamber as well.
I love that. And a great first step for anyone young who's listening to this, or younger side, is a young professionals networking group that you guys started up there, and had a couple cool outings. I actually went to the mini golf outing, which was super fun, and I know dodgeball's coming up in a few months. And I did hit a hole in one. Me and Brooke over here at Bad Rhino hit a hole in one on the 18th hole and got a puppy party. But talk to me a little bit about that group, because that could be a cool segue for any younger people trying to get into networking.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up, Eric, because so just forgive me, but the reason why we started a young professional group, to a lot of people with gray hair like me, who are like, well, why, what about what's old people? That's, and I realized from talking with other younger people, and this was even, 5, 6, 7 years ago, that sometimes people network differently at different ages or things that matter to them. And they don't really just want to be kept in a like clutch with somebody who is, a partner from their company's protege or something, So they really wanted an opportunity to just really hang out with each other, maybe learn about other things. A lot of times I've watched them get married, have children, change jobs, develop their careers. And there needs to be a safe space for that because frankly, the young professionals of the world are going to be our bosses someday, right? So, and as a chamber president, I want it to be valuable. If I thought that a chamber of commerce was like for old men, white men, how could somebody today, but it has so many different outlets out there, why would they find value in a chamber of commerce unless they felt invested? And the only way we can do that is to show, okay, I know you're working from home, you're in front of a screen all day, come on out and meet some people. We're nice, we're friendly. What's the worst that can happen? You wasted an hour and a pint, $10 on a pint of beer. And that's where kind of we just try to establish. And I'll just point out another thing. The young professionals also give us some great ideas of what will move the chamber forward. And some of those ideas, quite frankly, the older generations are jealous that they want to participate in. So we try to like balance that as well. Bring your young professional and you can come kind of thing. But so it's been a lot of fun. And, I think that's being in person too is giving the opportunity again for collaboration, for coming up with great ideas. Sometimes they fly and sometimes they flop, but just trying to keep that going.
Mm-hmm. And like I said already, they are a blast too. So if anyone's just looking to maybe have a little fun, definitely go check it out for sure.
Yeah,
So,
all the events are on extonregionchamber.com. So if anybody ever wanted to just check it out, we also share them on LinkedIn. So just check out Exton Region Chamber Young Professional, Exton Region Chamber Young Professionals, and you'll be able to check them out.
You beat me to it. That was my last question here.
Sorry.
I love it. But Laurie, I know you already set the website there, but where can people find you out on social media too and just follow along with the different things that you guys got going on?
Sure. We do have a presence on Facebook at Exton Region Chamber. Same with LinkedIn. We have an Instagram page as well at Exton Region Chamber. We also have a young professional group page and page on Instagram as well. So, and then there is a group on LinkedIn for young professionals as well.
Awesome. I'll link all of them down in the description so people can go check them out.
Thank you.
And Laurie, I appreciate you taking the time, sit down to do this podcast with me. And I'm sure I'll see you at more events in the future.
I know. Can't wait. Thanks, Eric. I appreciate your time.